Hi people, today I'm going to teach a technique that is going to reduce your effort in building API-driven Flutter applications. Generally, you consume API response, which is in a JSON format, and use it to write parsers and serializers and whatnot. But that is not required anymore. The idea is to convert that JSON response into the Dart class, and then you can use that class simply in your Flutter applications. So as you can see here on the screen, we have a JSON which will feed to an automatic tool, which I will describe later in this video tutorial. That tool will automatically convert that JSON into a Dart class. Now that Dart class combined with an normal HTTP GET request can fetch the data from the API, which is the JSON that we initially used, and we can use that to create a API-driven Flutter applications, as I said earlier. So let's begin. What I have done is basically I have created a application already. As you can see, the UI of that image is already created. I will just simply explain what all UI is there. I have simply created a sized box with a stack that have avatar image, which is this image, and the name, which is the placeholder, and the box beneath it, this white box, which contain different placeholders like coin name, coin value, descriptions, price, all those things. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to write a service which will consume that JSON and convert that into a model file. Now, in order to achieve this, let's try to see what JSON we should use to create this entire UI. So as you can see, we have name, we have value, we have description, we have price, market cap, and all the time. So we'll be building this cryptocurrency app. Let's begin. Let's create a folder called services for now. And in that folder, we will create a JSON file, coins.json. So now we have the JSON file. The JSON file could be an JSON object or could be an array of coins, right? So we can just have this JSON. And what we can do is we can simply copy the content that the JSON that I've already created. So let's quickly understand the JSON. I have just created this already for this tutorial. This JSON contain an array of coin objects. And remember that this JSON is not a simple JSON, it's a complex JSON. And the reason behind that is we have obviously key value pairs, like we have the name of the coin, which is the Doji coin, the description, the URL of that coin, the value, which is like price, market cap, and all-time high. Remember, this value is again a further JSON object. So these are the kind of JSON structure that you'll majorly come across while working with JSON APIs. And you can, easily map these values. You can see name is here, description is here, price, market cap, all time. So I have created a sample JSON, and I've already hosted this JSON file already on the server. Now, since we have our JSON structure ready, we just need to convert this JSON file into our Dart class model file. In order to do this, we have various ways of doing it actually. I'm going to explain one of them, but I'll just tell you one more way of doing it. You just need to click on this, go to new, and then you just need to convert using JSON to Dart. These are for those people who have already installed plugins. For those who have not, just simply go to this website called quicktype.io. By the way, this is an amazing tool if you want to convert JSON to various language classes. If you see, they have a huge lot of languages supported by them. So I have selected Dart, and then I'm simply going to paste my JSON here, which I have pasted from the studio class, and then I'm going to give it the name coins. Now let's simply understand what is this. This has generated a class called coins and a class called value automatically for you. And other than that, they have two more functions. One of them is from JSON, and then other one is to JSON. So whenever you are fetching data or getting data from any source, maybe API or maybe a file on the app directory, you just need to use this coins.from JSON and pass the JSON object to it. And once you do that, it will automatically give you an object which you can use to access those key objects. This is very much required while you're working with JSON API. So let's just copy this code, move back to Android Studio, and create a directory called models, which is basically a good practice to create this file. For example, if you're having multiple model files. Let's give it a name, coins. Let's add this to JIT and then paste our entire code. Now we have a Dart class which is able to, parse or uh, interpret our JSON file. Now, next thing that we need to do that I was explaining earlier was we have our JSON, we converted that into Dart class. Now we need to write a small service which we can use to fetch that JSON which I have already hosted. Now, in order to do this, what we are going to do is we are going to create a service called, let's call it fetch coins service. All right, let's give it a class called fetch coins, or you can say coin services, coins services, right? Now, first thing that we will do is we will have a small service which is going to basically fetch our API, fetch from the API. So let's define a function called get coins, and within that we'll be basically fetching all the response of all the coins. In this, we will be using the HTTPI get method in this. So in order to do this, let's just have the response object ready first, and then we'll be using await because it's an asynchronous function, and we'll do HTTP dot get, and we will use our URI parser. Then inside that, I'm just going to copy the URL that I have already hosted. Okay, so this is the URI that I've already hosted. This is simply the URL which I have got from GitHub while I was pushing this code. So this actually makes my task easy. Now, first thing is, since this is await, and then I'm going to increase the space a little bit so that we can see what we are doing. Since this is await, we need to add async keyword here. So that problem is solved. We haven't imported HTTP. So in order to do this, let's just import a class here, and the class. So this is our class. We have the, let me just correct the spelling of this. Now we have the response. Now we'll just do a simple response check. Let's just return a future, because since I mean this is the async function, so this is going to return a future for us, and that future will be of type coins, which is the class that we generated uh, before this stage. We will we'll have that kind of return to this, and the reason behind that is uh, the async function is always known to return future. So this is the type of return type this function will have. So let's just define the return type here, and let's just import this coins class here. Now in the response, we'll just check if response dot status code is equal to 200. You can obviously have a number of checks if you want, and then if the response is okay, we are getting 200 okay from the server, we'll just use our coins dot from JSON class. Since this is the function that I already explained here, this is the function here, and this function will basically convert our JSON coins object into the dart model file, which we can access later at this in the UI. Now, once this is done, we need to pass a JSON. So we have the response.body as a JSON string. We'll have to decode that JSON. So let's just, okay. So we just need to JSON dot decode, and then we will parse in the response body, which is response dot body, and either this, and if there's any error, we'll return an exception of type API error, or whatever error you are getting. You can obviously have those checks. As you can see, this is asking me to import a class. We'll import that, and done. We are done with our services. This service is enough to do the request and get the API response. Remember that this is a future coins object. Now we are done with almost 80% of our tutorial. Now we will go back to our main class here. As you can see that the entire app has been already coded. The UI part obviously has been already coded. Now what we are going to do is this, we will just need to add those coins object here and fetch that data. So in order to do this, what we'll do is we will create a simple object here, which is basically future of coins type, and of we'll say this is coins, and let's just import the coin object. And in the init function, obviously you would want to do that at a different thread if this is going to be a resource intensive task, but for this tutorial I will just use this coins equal to coin services dot get, what was the function, let me check. The function was get coins, which is this one, coin services dot get coins. This is going to basically give me the coins object that I was initially accessing. Once this is done, this coins object will be filled with the data that I need. Now, the last step of this tutorial is we are going to use this coins object and fill this data. Now, remember, this is basically a future. That means this is going to come later at the stage. Obviously, we would be doing this entire functioning at a different stage. Now, once the coins data arrive and our UI is already built, we would want to have some sort of way where we can feed in the data to the entire render object. Now, in order to do that, we will basically look at a special class provided by Flutter. It's called FutureBuilder. What FutureBuilder does is it takes that object, that coins object as a future, and build that and give you a snapshot of that thing. One thing that I might have missed here is we need to basically, while adding this, we just need to go and check if we are returning the entire JSON object or just a single one. So for this tutorial sake, we will just fetch the single object here. The reason behind this is, as you can see from the JSON, we have an array of object, right? Now we can obviously write a list and do that, but for this tutorial sake, we'll just access this object here. So this zero makes sure that we are getting the first data, the zeroth data here. Now, I was talking about the future builder class. This future builder class just is going to take the points or as a future. So as you can see, we have this entire thing in a sized box. You will have to strategically test and check where you want to provide those data. You just need to let's wrap this widget with future builder, right? And then we need to provide it a future. Future is the coins, right? And after that, we need to also provide context and a snapshot in the builder function. So the builder is going to be the context, which is the same as the earlier one, and the snapshot. This is the thing that we'll be dealing with all the time. Now, after this, you just need to return a widget actually. So in order to do this, what you need to do is you need to check if snapshot dot has data, or maybe then you need to return a widget. Let's for now return text success, maybe, yeah. And then if else, if you can say snapshot dot has error, you can also say return, you can again return a widget saying error. Else you can simply say return circular progress bar indicator. That is going to show a circular loading bar for us. Now, as you can see that we don't need this child anymore. So what we are going to do is we're going to copy this entire thing and delete this, right? And we are going to paste it here. And this is going to complete our code for fetching the value. But remember, we are currently only fetching the value. We are not showing the value as of now. So if I click this, see how this request is going. And after that, it populates the UI. Now, as you can see, we have the data already with us, and we are just waiting to show the data. In the meanwhile, let's just go to Coin class and see what response we are getting. Let's just print that response for now. Response.body. And after doing that, just let's hot reload this. Now, as you see, what happened is initially the app loaded, it did the API request and got this JSON as in response. Remember, this response is being taken from this HTTP GET request by basically doing a GET request to this JSON object, and then we are parsing that. So now let's start using that data now. We'll go to the model.dart class. The first thing that we need to do is we need to start fetching the coin name at least. So we will go to the stack here. So as I said initially, you remember that we have two sections. The first one is for the upper part, and the second one, the second one is for the upper part, obviously, and the upper one is for the lower part here. So let's just start filling in the data. Have seen this, that I have added a placeholder called coin name. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick check. Snapshot dot name dot data, sorry, dot name. I just need to check if it is null. If it is null, then we're just going to say coin's name, or we will say snapshot dot data. Now if I hit save, you will see that the name has started coming up here. Let me hot reload it to show it to you again. Initially it just loaded and the value was fetched and the UI was populated. So it's very simple. Let's just start adding the data to other things. The first one is this one. The second one is the image. Now in order to do image, we will be following the same pattern. We'll be doing snapshot dot data dot image URL. Let me see if I am using this correct name. This is image URL and image underscore URL. If that is equal to no, we'll use this. We are using the conditional operator here, and if not, we'll be using snapshot dot data dot image underscore URL. Now what this is going to do is the similar one which we were doing earlier. There is an error, which is because we don't have image URL here. The name is wrong. I will tell you why. So as you can see, I'm able to fetch the data here. So similarly, we are going to do for other objects. Remember what happened here is we are using the snapshot object, which is returning image URL because of this thing. Because the entire coins class is describing the name of those parameters, not your JSON. So you just need to use these string objects or the value object, whatever you are using inside your the UI inside the UI, and not the keys of the JSON itself. So this part is done. Let's just move to the container and start entering the data. The same thing is here. So I'll write it down again to show you how this is done. Let's just create a little bit of space for ourselves. So I'm just going to write snapshot dot data dot image URL. If that is null, then it is going to do this image, else snapshot dot data dot image URL. Now this is also done. If I hit save, you will be seeing that I have the name, I have the image here also. Same I'm going to do here. You see, the name is here, and then we are going to add the value. Now, this is important. Reason being, this is another class which is inside that value class. So how we will be accessing that is we'll go to snapshot, then we'll go to data, then we'll go to the value. So remember what I was telling you initially was this model not only allow you to fetch the data directly, but also it will allow you to fetch data which is some sort of children to the earlier given data. And this is very important while you are fetching the data from things like where they have hierarchical structure and hierarchical information for that matter. So let's start fetching those data. Remember, we have coins as single class and the value as a different class. So using the value here, let's go inside this, and if snapshot dot data dot value, remember we have the value as a different object, and then inside that we'll go and check if that contains the price element. Let me show you again. So inside the value we have price, market cap, and all-time high. So if I go and check is not null or is null, then we'll show this, else we are going to show the same value. This is done. So as soon as I save this, you will see the prices is also updated. Remember, I have added the image, the name, this image, the name, the value. Now we are going to add descriptions, prices, market cap, all-time high quickly. Let's just do that. So I'm just quickly going to copy this entire thing. Okay, and let's go to the description here. Same thing. This is description. So this is part of the upper part of the JSON. This is the description, not the hierarchical object. So since that is there, we will directly be accessing that inside the description. And if it is not null, then we are going to do this, else snapshot.show.description. We should be done here. See, we are getting the description also of cryptocurrency, which is mentioned here. Now let's just do the same thing. Just copy this and do it for the prices and the high caps and the low caps. We'll be doing the price here, and then for the market cap, we'll be doing the market cap and market cap here, and then for this, the same thing. I'll copy the entire thing and paste it here. So this is all time high, and we'll just copy paste this here, and we should be done. Let's just see. We have the price value. We have the okay. I just did something wrong. I actually placed the value for this here. So let's just remove that. This is going to be the text, which is market cap. Now the last thing that we need to do is we need to add all-time high, and this is actually market cap, not all-time high. And for this one, we'll be pasting the same thing again. We'll have to copy that first if we can. We'll go here and paste this. But let's convert this all-time high, copy, paste. Let's just make it a little bit bigger, and boom, done. So this actually brings us to the end of the tutorial. You have seen clearly how easy it is to fetch the data from any API which is giving you JSON. Obviously, you can write parsers for other formats like XML or any other format, CSV maybe for that matter. Use that data in the JSON, convert that into a class, and then use that class and a small API request service to fetch the data and populate that entire thing in the UI. Remember and appreciate how we use the future builder here. The future builder is basically the key, because once the UI is populated, the future builder makes sure that the data that you receive is automatically pushed to the UI so that it can be shown inside the entire thing. Also, you can manage this thing like if the data has been received or not using snapshot objects, and then further you can fetch those data and show it the UI. So this is everything, guys. Thank you so much. If you have any question, drop every query in the comment section. I will paste the link to that tool in the description section as well. Thank you so much.